Hey y'all, it's me, Dr. Missy Hillock, and I'm here with an energy forecast for the week of May 24th through 30th, 2026. Can you believe we're 5 full months into the new year? That sounds crazy to me. I can't believe we're almost at the halfway mark. And we're also at this point where, for here, those of us here in the Northern Hemisphere, we're kind of shifting into this new season. It feels like we're flowing into summer. It's Memorial Day weekend here in the States, so it feels like it's pool season. Kids are out of school. It's time to barbecue. It's time to cut loose a little bit. We've also crossed over a few days ago out of Taurus and now into Gemini season. So there's some big shifts happening. And in terms of the cards that I pulled this week to support us through this, I felt really called toward some of my very, very core Oracle card decks that I work with for myself and for my clients every single day. And what came through was so beautiful, so supportive, exactly what I needed to hear personally, and just a reminder of who I am, what I've come through, and where I'm headed. And so I really hope that this is going to support you too. So let's dig in. The first deck that I've pulled from is one of Kyle Gray's decks, the Angel Guide Oracle. I really love this in terms of just connecting with our own team of light and asking for maybe it's just what do you want me to know today? What's a message that will support me? Or maybe you have a specific question or thing that you're working through or something on your heart that you want to dial into and get some guidance around. I really love this deck for that. When I pulled from it for this week, the card that came through is Spiritual Growth, which is also the card on the cover of the deck. I really, really love this card. And what does it mean in relation to us and in relation to this week? So, if you're watching this, you're probably a lot like me and that you've been on a spiritual journey. For some of us, that's been several years. For some of us, that may only be months or weeks. You may be very new on your spiritual journey, but regardless of where you are, a spiritual journey is really a warrior's journey. It is this path to, you know, becoming something new and almost like starting over again and becoming this better, more authentic version of ourselves. And so for those of us who are doing this is a reminder that we are in this season, this year that's brought so many changes cosmically and with all the energies taking place around us, that is really showing us who we were versus who we are now and giving us opportunities to see how far we've come, what has changed in us. That could be as simple as things that we used to really enjoy doing or enjoy eating or drinking that maybe no longer resonate with us, all the way up to our value systems, our beliefs, big, big things that may be quite a few 180-degree shifts from maybe where we were at some point in our life. So this is a time where we can really be reflective on that and notice when you're having conversations and you're again feeding yourself or moving your body, just how you are responding differently than maybe you would have in the past. And when it comes to spiritual growth, when it comes to a spiritual journey, some people think this is just, an upward climb. So in other words, once you start there, everything just keeps getting better and better and better. And the thing about spiritual work is it actually works in a cycle. Everything in nature, everything in our energy system is cyclical. And so sometimes when we're on that spiral, that upward spiral, we circle back to something that may feel like, oh my gosh, I've overcome this already, or I thought I had moved through that. I thought I had healed that. But what happens on this spiral is when we come back, when we feel like maybe we've regressed a little bit, or maybe we've even had a moment where we've questioned our faith, questioned our beliefs. We thought we've come so far, and now we're like, is that really what I think? These are simply opportunities for us to evaluate again, where are we and where have we been? So when we get to those moments in our life, don't look at those things as down points. Look at those things as opportunities to see that you have still come. You've still gone up. You've just done so in a way that gives us time to reflect, to choose again. Okay. And so this is a big week, and I do believe a big season, this whole year, because we are in this fire horse year and this universal 1 year. It's been so many shifts of energy. And so just know that you are supported on your spiritual path and are being given opportunities, even if they feel like not great opportunities, things we wouldn't have picked. They are still opportunities to look square in the eyes with your life and with yourself and see the changes that you've made. And I really love that. I love moments to reflect where I still have some things I'd love to move through and grow, and also all the things that have really shifted. The next deck that I pulled from is also a Kyle Gray deck. I just really love his decks. And this is the Archangel Oracle, the 22 Archangels Oracle. And the card that I drew was Faith, Archaea Faith. If you are, most of us are familiar with the male archangels, but not as many of us maybe are familiar with the female Archaea, which are kind of the twin flames, the counterparts to what we know as the traditional divine masculine archangels. And so Archaea Faith, or Lady Faith, is the divine counterpart to Archangel Michael. Most of us are really familiar with Archangel Michael, probably more so than any of the archangels. And we think about Michael as this very strong, courageous warrior. He's got a sword. He's ready to fight. He's all about protection and justice. And Faith being the counterpart to that, I think of her, instead of wielding the sword, she is the shield. So she's still about protection, but in a softer way, in a more knowing way, in this trusting and faithful way. And so the card reads, Faith, moving mountains, trust in your ability to create miracles. The impossible is becoming possible. And here's what I love the most about this card, especially now, is when we are going through phases where we're noticing our spiritual growth and we're given these opportunities to see and choose again and reflect on what we've come through, right? And some of that is really great, and some of that, doesn't feel as good. And when we make some of those reflections, this is a reminder to lean into what I think is the most divine code that we on a spiritual journey can sort of embody. Okay. Love is the big overarching thing, right? And love is the frequency of everything that drives us. But trust, faith, right? Divine trust, divine faith, this knowing, this connectedness with our higher power, knowing that we and God are one, that we are one with everything, that we are always supported, that everything is happening for us, not to us, is the ultimate thing that we could achieve on a spiritual journey. If we could just know that, if we could snap our fingers and just trust that we're always protected, that justice will always prevail, that, that we can co-create with the divine, that even when our prayers don't feel like they're being answered, even when our manifestations don't appear as if they're coming back to us in the form we would have chosen, knowing that the form is arbitrary. It is something that our human mind has a really hard time understanding when we have a desire for something and we have an outcome that we want to see play out very tangibly in front of our eyes. Sometimes it's really hard to rationalize with our brain how something can be for us when it's not what we've asked for, right? Most of us don't enjoy that. But that's where faith comes in, where she's asking us to lean in to this beautiful divine code of trust, that everything is happening for us, no matter how it appears, no matter how it seems that it's different than what we're wishing for, asking for, praying for, manifesting and intending, okay? And so this is this truly this belief that everything is for us. And then the last card that I pulled is from the Soul Coaching Oracle by Denise Linn. Again, another one of my absolute favorite decks. And I really love this card in relation to the other two because it really gives us a course for how to embody what we've just talked about here. And it's card number 14, Delight. Okay. So think about delight, absolute joy. Okay. Passion, excitement, all those really high vibe energies that feel so good to feel, right? Excitement, again, happiness, love, all of these things. I actually had one of my clients just yesterday ask me to sort of try to explain divine presence. What is divine presence? How do we know we're feeling divine presence? And while there were a few different things I explained, and what I connect with divine presence, the one that really relates to this is when I am feeling pure joy, pure bliss, pure delight, is when I feel closest to my creator. It's when I can feel tangibly in my body the feeling of safety, trust, a knowing that all is right with the world. It sort of reminds me the movie The Christmas Story with Ralphie and the Red Ryder BB gun. You know, he's on this journey to Christmas morning where he gets his perfect Christmas gift. And of course, he does end up getting his Red Ryder BB gun. And he has a beautiful Christmas day with his family, even though things sort of go awry. It ends up being this beautiful, magical day where when he lays his head down on his pillow that night, that Christmas night, after he's received his beautiful Red Ryder BB gun and he's sleeping with it on his pillow and he's dreaming, about being, a Wild West shooter and such, he is like, all is right with the world, right? That is what I think of a divine presence. All is right with the world. And sometimes to say that in our modern world feels so big, because if we turn on the news, we look at the paper, we look out the window, sometimes we're like, all does not feel right with the world. But when I say this, I mean our inner world. I mean our present reality, what is impacting us right now, even when we see death, when we see pain, when we see trauma, because we do, let's face it, we all experience that and can see that on any given day. That when we have those moments of feeling safety, joy, happiness, even if it's just these slight little moments that we catch them, these glimmers of safety and happiness and delight, that to me is divine presence. So in relation to spiritual growth and faith, the path forward in this is to lean in to what gives you joy, to what makes you feel safe, to what makes you feel like you have a purpose. And it's not always the big moments. It's these teensy weensy little moments. Maybe it's that longer hug with the person that you love and taking a moment to really notice your hands on their skin, or, the way that they smell, taking an extra moment to savor your favorite food or your favorite beverage. For me, a lot of times it's just moments with my cats, watching them play and looking at how adorable they are and how they make me chuckle. Those are the moments that are so simple, but they do bring delight. And that is how we bring in this greater presence of the divine through that high frequency of joy and love and delight. So that's your invitation this week. As a bonus card, I pulled one more from a deck I really love to use when I'm using these specific cards. And it is a light activation deck. And so the idea is that you look at the light image here, and then there's a message to go along with it. So the message is here and now. It says, the future does not exist and the past is gone. I focus on the present moment. I have confidence in life again because here and now there is no danger. Everything happens when my soul is ready. And I thought, well, how perfect was this to go along with this message, in particular in relation to the faith and believing that we are safe, right? There is no danger. Everything's happening for us. I have confidence in life again, right? Having the faith, this moving mountains, and being very present here and now, not in the past, not in the future, but truly in this moment where we can delight, where we can find moments of safety, we can find moments of purpose. And so if you're like me, that's your invitation this week, to lean more into those moments and to be so proud of yourself. When you look at the things that you're going to come upon this week, you look at the ability to choose in a way that represents this beautiful path of growth that you've been on. And I support you. I am delighted to be able to bring you these messages each week to also support you on your journey. If you want to make sure that you don't miss one of these messages, you can certainly follow my YouTube here so that you'll get notifications for those each Sunday. You can also sign up for my mailing list, which will give you a beautiful email to go along with the message, as well as some other guidance and support and tools that will come your way that way. So go out and be wonderful, my friends. I hope you have a fantastic rest of May, and I will see you again next week. Bye for now.